read too many disappointing books and not enough favorite books. We've got to change that. So what I want you guys to do is in the comments down below, tell me what your favorite book of the year is so far, and possibly sometime soon I will be doing a reading vlog of reading your favorite books. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a rather exciting reading vlog. I have currently read 99 books this year. So the next book that I pick up is going to be my 100th book. And I wanted to do a special vlog for my 100th book. A while back, I had asked you guys what your favorite book you have read this year so far has been. So I thought it would be the perfect time to read some of your favorite books and to have my 100th book of the year be a book that you guys really loved. I wrote down literally every single submission that you guys put in. There was so many. I put them all into a spreadsheet and then I wrote down how many times each book had been mentioned. And so I am going to read the book that was mentioned the most, and that is going to be my 100th book. Looking at that spreadsheet, there are actually 2 books that tied for #1 most mentioned, and they're pretty surprising. Before I tell you what those were, I'll tell you what some of the other books that were mentioned a lot were. So we have People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, which isn't surprising. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, also not very surprising. Kingdom of the Wicked, which I think is a YA book, came up a lot. Real by Kennedy Ryan came up a lot. And I'm actually excited about this spreadsheet because there were a bunch of books that were mentioned that I'd never heard of before, so I'm definitely going to be adding a lot of those to my TBRs. I have 2 books here that were tied for the most mentioned favorite books of the year. Both of these books were mentioned 12 times. So those 2 books are Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir and Raybearer by Jordan Ifuko. I don't know, I feel like these are surprising choices. Less so Project Hail Mary. Obviously, like, I know Andy Weir is a very popular author, not just on BookTube, but just in general because of The Martian. And so I'm not as surprised that this was mentioned a lot, but I don't know, I guess it just surprised me because I didn't have this book on my radar at all. But then Raybearer really surprised me because I do know that there are a lot of people who really love this book, but I guess I didn't realize just how widely loved it was. So these are the 2 books that I will be reading, and these will be my 100th and 101 books that I've read, and I'm really excited. I feel like both of these books were ones that I didn't really have on my TBRs or on my radar, so I'm picking these up completely because of you guys. I hope you don't steer me wrong here, but we'll see. I think I'm going to start with Project Hail Mary because I got the audiobook of this from my library, and I heard that the audiobook for this is really good, so I do want to listen to it on audio. So I'm gonna start with this one and then read Raybearer, but I'm very excited to see how this goes. I think the book that I want to start with is Project Hail Mary. It's been a while since I've read a sci-fi. I'm very much in a sci-fi mood right now. I've been watching a lot of sci-fi movies the past couple days. This is the author of The Martian, which I read so long ago. I think I remember reading that when I was like in high school. No, I think I was in college. I think I was a freshman in college because I remember I made one of my friends read it who like doesn't really read, and he read it and really liked it, and then we went and watched the movie together. So it's been a while. I never read his second book. I think it was called Artemis because I didn't hear very good things about that. So basically it's about this guy who I believe he wakes up with no memories. It says he's the sole survivor on a desperate last chance mission, and if he fails, humanity and Earth itself will perish. Except that right now he doesn't know that. He can't even remember his own name, let alone the nature of his assignment or how to complete it. Yeah, so he wakes up with no memories and he has 2 crewmates with him that are dead, and he finds out he's on this mission that is supposed to save humanity. Sounds really interesting. So this is quite a long book. It's just under 500 pages. Right now, I'm just waiting for the last reading vlog that I filmed to upload. And while I do that, I think I will read the first chapter of this book, get a vibe for it, see how I'm feeling. So this video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. If you are someone who loves cereal but avoids it because of all of the sugar, Magic Spoon has something for you. Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. Their cereals have 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. With only 140 calories per serving, they are also keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. Their variety pack comes with 4 delicious flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. I'm a really big cereal lover, but it is something that I try to only eat occasionally. But with the Magic Spoon variety pack, I've been having a ton of cereal and absolutely loving it. My favorite flavors out of these are the cocoa and the peanut butter. And if you want a little extra deliciousness, mix the two together and they're so good. I stay up really late editing most nights, and I always reach for a midnight snack, and the Magic Spoon cereals have been the perfect healthy snack for me to have while I'm editing all of my videos. They are backed with a 100% guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, you can get a refund, no questions asked. And if you would like to try it, you can use my code RileyMarie at checkout to get $5 off of your order. And thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. So I'm officially obsessed with this book. I'm only like 75 pages in, but I'm obsessed. This is so interesting. So basically what has happened is scientists notice that the sun has decreased in light by like a fraction of a percent or whatever. They do experiments and investigate to see what has happened, and they discover that there are these like little alien parasites that are eating the energy of the sun. As they're eating it, the sun is like getting dimmer, it's getting colder, and that is causing the earth to get colder, which they're predicting that they have like 30 years left until humanity is going to starve and die because of all of the different effects that it's going to have on the planet. So they go into crisis mode to try to solve this, and that is why the main character is on the space station. They have figured out something, and he was sent on a mission that could save humanity. We're flipping back and forth between the past when this was all discovered and when he's like working at the government lab trying to figure out what's happening, and then also him like currently on the space station not having any memories and trying to piece together what has happened and who he is and why he's there. And I'm really enjoying this. I will say that it's very, very heavy on the science. If you read The Martian, obviously like that one was also very science heavy. But I feel like the way that Andy Weir describes science makes me feel smart. Like, I am not a science person. I don't know anything about science. But like the way that he describes the science, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. I feel like I could be a scientist. It's just like, it's all explained in a very easy to understand way, but I also don't feel like I'm being like talked down to or anything is being dumbed down. It's just explained really well. I was laying in bed listening to the audiobook just now, and the part that I just finished listening to literally made me like shoot out of bed. Like, I'm so excited for the direction that it's going in. I feel like I don't want to spoil anything because there's a really big aspect of this book that is not mentioned at all in the synopsis, but I'm really excited the direction that it's going. So I'm just gonna keep reading this. I feel like I'm flying through it, even though it is pretty long. The audiobook is really good. I really like the narrator. And I'm just enjoying this so much more than I thought I was going to, honestly. Okay, so I am like oh, wait, hold on. You're in my bathroom cabinet. Welcome to my bathroom. But I am halfway through Project Hail Mary and I'm loving it so much. It's really like the combination of all of my favorite sci-fi movies. It's like if you combined Arrival, Interstellar, The Martian, and Gravity, if you put all those together into like one really epic sci-fi adventure, that's what this is. Also, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm organizing all my soaps. Bath & Body Works had like a really big sale on their soap, and these are my favorite hand soaps, so I bought like 15 of them. I know, I'm insane, but I'm organizing them and deciding which ones I want to put at all my sinks. And if you're wondering what soap I decided to put here, it's Marshmallow Pumpkin Latte. I'm just ready for fall. So I finished Project Hail Mary. Oh my god, if you guys could see how messy my desk is right now. Okay, I finished it. 5 stars. I am blown away. This was so amazing. This is my favorite sci-fi book that I've ever read. Big statement there, but it is. And I don't even think I can talk about why. The biggest reason why I love this book is a spoiler, but let me just say that like this book has my new all-time favorite character. Like all time. It was so good. Maybe it's not a spoiler. I didn't know about it going into it, so I'm gonna keep it to myself, but I loved it. And the audiobook was fantastic. I think that if you are planning on reading this, I highly recommend the audiobook. I was on the edge of my seat. Like there was a certain part in the book that was like the point of no return for me, and once I hit that spot, I literally could not stop reading it until I got to the end because I was so anxious about what was gonna happen. I need it to be a movie. I was Googling if it was gonna be a movie, and I saw that like possibly Ryan Gosling is in talks to star in a movie or like produce a movie. I don't know, but I could totally see him being the main character. I would watch it. So officially, your first pick for me was great. 5 stars. Great taste. Y'all have great taste. This was the perfect choice to be my 100th book. So I've now read 100 books. When I went and I marked this as read on Goodreads, I noticed that it has a very, very, very high average rating, and so does Raybearer. Both of these books, let me look up what they are because both of them were like crazy high. So Project Hail Mary has a 4.55 and Raybearer has a 4.43. I get it, the hype is real. Project Hail Mary is amazing, and I hope that Raybearer is just as good. Hello, future Riley popping in here because I'm editing this video and I realized I never explained what Raybearer is about. So I'm gonna pass it over to the author, Jordan Ifueko, to give you guys a quick little summary of this book.
Raybearer is an African-inspired fantasy about a girl named Tarisai. She lives in a global empire ruled by an emperor and a crown prince who are rumored to be divine, because for every person they anoint onto their council, they become immune to one kind of death. The catch: anybody anointed to their council can still kill him. Now Tarisai, she's a plant on the council. She's supposed to kill the crown prince, but the only problem is he's kind of her best friend.
Okay, so I have read 75 pages of Raybearer. Basically, what I've read so far, I feel like is kind of setting up the story. We're following the main character when she is a kid. I think that right now she's like 10 or 11. She's pretty young right now and has gone through a lot of changes. She's been thrust out of her very isolated life and she doesn't really know what's going on. She's been sent to the palace and she is now among the people who are going to be chosen to be part of the Prince's council. She's really struggling because she wants more than anything to be a part of this council because the council grants her this family that she's never had. The council has this magical bond with each other that is deeper than any other bonds, and she really, really wants to be a part of that and have a home and a family for the first time, but she knows that if the second that she accepts to be anointed onto the council, then she will have to fulfill her mother's command to kill the prince, which she desperately does not want to do because she loves him. He's like her best friend. So she's struggling a lot right now. I'm really loving this. I think that one of the reasons why I'm loving it so much is because the writing is really reminding me of N.K. Jemisin, specifically 100,000 Kingdoms. It's really reminding me of that book, not so much in like plot. I mean, I guess I can see influences from that book, but it's more so just the way that the writing is and the way that everything is told, the way that the world building is sort of like slowly weaved throughout the story. There's no like info dumping. You're really given information only at the time that you need it. And the writing is just so lush and beautiful and has a very similar style to N.K. Jemisin, which I'm really loving because I think that N.K. Jemisin is like one of the most talented writers possibly ever. And so far this story just feels really unique and unlike anything that I've read. The world is super, super cool. And I just especially really like the idea of this bond and this council of people who are so interwoven with each other. It kind of reminds me of Sense8 when she met the Emperor and his current Council of 11. The way that she was just sort of describing them kind of was reminding me of Sense8, and the way that all of those characters are connected and together. And through the bond, they're able to speak to each other in their minds and like feel each other and each other's presence. I'm really loving it so far. I'm gonna keep reading this today. It's split up, I think, into 4 parts. So I at least wanna read up to part 2. Let's see. I have like 3 more chapters until I get to part 2. So I'm at least gonna read there. But so far, I'm really impressed. I'm loving this book so much, you guys. One of my favorite things is that the love interest calls the main character Sunshine Girl. It's so cute. I love it. I love them. This book has like such great relationships, and there is like a tiny romance. It's not the focal point. The focal point is really like friendship and this bond between this council of characters and their Ray bond. Like, oh, the friendship in this book, the friendship. My heart can't take it. So I'm still reading Raybearer. I'm like a little over halfway through it, but I wanted to go ahead and order the second book because I want to read that soon, but I'm getting them on Book Depository because I have the UK covers, which I'm actually curious if you guys prefer the UK covers or the US covers of this series. I'm split. I think I like the UK cover of the first book, but then I prefer the US cover of the second book. But my brain won't let me buy different editions, so I'm just gonna go ahead and buy. I hate when he barks once because I'm like, what does that mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and buy the UK cover of the second book. Also, it's cheaper. Probably gonna take a while to get to me. The first book took like 3 weeks. I wanna order it now. I'm kind of wishing that I had ordered them both at the same time, but I didn't wanna buy it in case I didn't like the first book. Let's just go ahead and order this, and hopefully it doesn't take 3 weeks, because I want to read it soon. I know that as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna want to pick up the second book, but I have tons of other stuff that I have to read. I'm also right now working on this book series tracker spreadsheet. I really want to try to complete all of my unfinished book series. So I made a spreadsheet of all of the like ones that I'm currently in the middle of, and I color coded it. I actually don't have as many active going series as I thought I did, which I guess makes sense because I don't like series and I typically don't pick them up unless it's something that like super interests me or it's from an author that I already really love. So I only have 22 series going on right now, which maybe sounds like a lot, but like some of these are ones from like years ago that I just haven't finished. Some of them are like brand new ones that only one book is out. It's a mixture, but I've color coded it. So all of the dark purple are books that I've read, and then the light pink are books that I've read but that I want to reread before I continue on in the series. And then green are books that haven't come out yet. And then blue are books that I own. So yeah, I'm actually like really excited about this. And there's a couple of these that I'm like planning on finishing soon, like Vampire Academy. But like this really reminded me that I want to reread Jade City before or when the third book comes out. I read Jade City like, I think I read it in like 2017, so a while ago, but I opened this up because I wanted to add the Raybearer series. So we have Raybearer. I think it's called the Raybearer series. Is that what the series is called? And then the second book is called Redemptor. I'm just gonna mark it as read even though I haven't finished it yet. I'm gonna finish it today, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mark it as read. And then I will mark Redemptor as I own it, since I just bought a copy. I loved this. Wow, okay. I'm giving this 5 stars. You guys, we had 2 5 stars. You guys have now earned my complete trust. This was so amazing. I don't think I have loved a YA fantasy this much. I can't remember the last time I loved a YA fantasy this much. Have I ever? I don't know. This was so insanely good. It just felt so different from all the other YA fantasies that I've read. And my biggest critique to YA fantasy lately is that they've all felt very similar. At least the ones that I've been reading the past couple of years have just been like the same characters, the same stories, the same like plot twists. Like the same worlds, the same everything, and this is so unique and fresh and new, and it subverted a lot of expectations. I love all of the different relationships in this book, especially the focus on friendship and on like generational trauma and like passing that on to your child. Like, I don't even know what to say. This was amazing. And the way that it ended, like, it went in a direction that I was not expecting, and the way that it ended, I'm so, like, I need the second book. I need it. I love this main character. Tarisai is amazing. I loved the magic in here. The Ray bond was so fascinating. I really don't want to like spoil too much about this because I feel like this world is just really fun to like unravel yourself as you're reading it, but there's so much going on in this world. There's this whole plot with like sacrificing children to the underworld. I'm already sad that this is a duology because I want more. There was a hint of a romance between two side characters that I need to know more about. I need a story on just them. There was like stuff that happened with them off page, and I'm like, knock, 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 hello? What happened there? I'm blown away. I love this. Which means, like I said, both books that I read for this were 5 stars. You guys did me good. You did me good. I'm so happy that I did this because I probably wouldn't have read either of these books otherwise. So I'm definitely going to want to do this again, and I'll wait till the end of the year and ask you guys again, like, what is your favorite book of the year, and I will read the most mentioned books because this went so well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!